We are live with another episode of the Sci-Fi Power Hour, and we will be talking about the um,
the alle-
imminent,
the alleged
the alleged imminent final deal where Disney is going to buy quite a few of the rights that Fox
Fox.
has, IPs that Fox has. Um, basically all of their creative stuff except for the sports and the news. So that's going to be that. This has a potential to ultimately change the entertainment landscape, if you will. Um,
Yeah, and many people are worried that it's going to be a sign of monopolization.
well, I mean, to keep it fair, we already have a lot of monopolization in terms of entertainment. Sadly, Disney is the one because Disney owns the Muppets, Disney owns
Pixar,
Pixar, Disney owns
Marvel,
Marvel, Disney owns
so
Star Wars.
Lucasfilms in general.
Well, I
And
mean, but Lucasfilms is Star Wars, so they own Lucasfilms. The only part of Lucasfilms they don't own is that iconic Fox opening, and which is why if you notice with the new Star Wars films, they don't have the classic Star Wars opening because that's Fox's thing. But if this deal goes through, that stuff will change. But something else will change if this deal goes through too, and that's what we're here to talk about. The Marvel stuff that's held hostage by Fox.
oh yes,
But before we get into the movie implications, I have something to say. For you Marvel vs. Capcom fans, if this deal goes through, you'll finally get your damn X-Men in the game. It'll probably be DLC. You'll get your X-Men. Shut the fuck up. And the Fantastic Four. What?
And we'll also get our Doctor Doom and his
and Doctor Doom, and maybe Galactus. But that's
or maybe Silver Surfer and Super Scroll.
well, yeah. Well. I mean, from what I've heard, Kevin Feige has really wanted to do a Silver Surfer movie for years and years and years and years. And one of the because there were talks about Fox and Disney, Fox and Marvel doing a deal I want to say 5 or 7 years, no, 5 years ago, and it broke down because Kevin Feige wanted Silver Surfer. He said, "Look, your hold on the rights to Daredevil is about to expire, and I'll let you guys keep Daredevil if you swap Silver Surfer with us." And Fox was like, "No, that's okay. We'll hold on to Silver Surfer, even though we're doing fuck all with it." And he was like, "Okay, so we'll take this and give it to Netflix, and we'll see what happens." Yeah. Apparently, if you listen to the grapevine, they're still pissed about the fact that Netflix did something better. Marvel did something better with Daredevil than they could do through one really bad Ben Affleck movie. But I guess it's time to get to the main point of this, which is
how they're going to utilize it to the MCU, both the X-Men and the Fantastic Four properties.
Yeah, so I guess we'll split this podcast into 3 parts. What is most likely, what we would like to see, and what would just blow our minds and probably will never happen. So the first part's what's likely, the second part is what we would like to see, and then the third part is not even what we would like to see. It's basically so off the wall that it probably won't happen. But if it did, we'd lose our minds. So you can go first. What would you like to see? I mean, what would you like to see?
See, I know that what's most likely is that the Fantastic Four will be the first to be introduced to the MCU.
I could see that. Do you think that it would be? Here's my question. Do you think that if they did the Fantastic Four, do you think it would be set in modern times, or would it be like a period piece, like set in the 70s?
Considering
Because
that, considering that the upcoming Captain Marvel movie is going to be taking place in the 90s,
yeah.
it's I'd say 50-50.
Well, the only reason I say that if they do a Fantastic Four, because anyone who knows me knows that I friggin' love the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like they're my favorite. They're my favorite superhero team. They got me into.
So the reason why I think it could take place in modern times because the fact that in Spider-Man: Homecoming, Tony Stark sold the Avengers Tower, and my suspicion that it could be the new headquarters for the Fantastic Four should they ever come back.
No. Normally I would agree with you, but as a Fantastic Four fanboy, like I actually know the lore behind it. Like the Fantastic Four's headquarters is the Baxter Building. So, and that's their thing. Like Tony Stark has the Stark Tower in the Avengers Mansion. Depending on which version of the Avengers you're talking about, the X-Men have, the home for extraordinary, the home for the gifted, and upstate New York. Like everyone has their own like their own crib, and for the Fantastic Four, it's the Baxter Building.
Yeah.
It's like it just wouldn't be. It
just wouldn't be the same without it.
Yeah. If we sold it to Reed. Not to mention, like Reed Richards is perpetually like on the verge of going bankrupt, which is part of the. He's like, where would he get the money to buy a fucking new building? That makes no sense. But no, I personally, I think that what they'll do is that they're either what's most likely what they'll do. What's most likely for them to do is I think that they will essentially, for Fantastic Four to introduce them to the universe, they're either going to have them be a part of someone else's movie, and it'll probably be a period piece in the 70s. I mean, you could do the 60s, which is where the Fantastic Four kind of originate, but I think they're going to stay away from the origin story because people,
everyone's starting to get sick of origin stories. I know.
Well, I mean, they can work in how they got their powers, but it doesn't have to be. They do not have to spend the first 20-30 minutes of the movie talking about how the Fantastic Four got their powers. They could easily have in the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's like, and who are you? Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. The guy from the launch. Yeah. The space launch. Yeah, cosmic rays. Yeah, I'm that guy. And that's all you got to do. That's you don't need to have this massive sequence. And the reason I think the Fantastic Four would be awesome and would work really well in the fourth phase that's coming up is because now they're dealing with cosmic threats. And they're gonna eventually defeat Thanos, obviously. Yeah. So who's the next big ass badass villain that they can go up against the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Galactus.
You got it, Galactus. So you're either gonna get a Silver Surfer origin movie, which we have not gone over Silver Surfer's origin. They fucked it up in the Fantastic Four 2 with Tim Story that Fox did. They also fucked up Galactus. It was just a lot of fuck ups with that movie.
Yeah, I mean, instead of being a physical match, instead of being in physical form, he's instead a giant cloud.
Well, that's the thing. He was never a giant cloud in the comics. Like that's not Galactus's thing. Galactus is a gigantic humanoid figure that essentially he's the embodiment of entropy. He eats planets. That's his thing. and he spends the only thing that terrifies Galactus is the universal nullifier and not eating, because if he doesn't eat, his body begins to devour itself. He starves and his body eats itself. So I mean, and he's basically a god. I mean, he's basically a god. So and here's the thing.
And once he's full, he becomes almost unstoppable.
Well, not so much. It's theorized that since Galactus is the spirit of entropy, there's supposed to be a point where he devours all the life in the universe, and eventually he starts eating planets that don't really have life, and then he's supposed to um, explode, and his all the matter, he devours all the matter, and then he becomes the new Big Bang, and a new universe is created. That's the point behind. Like everyone's like, man, he just destroys planets. And, well, you trying to stop him from destroying planets is actually prolonging the the intricate nature of the universe in the Marvel universe in the comics. It's very interesting. Them stopping Galactus is actually prolonging everything.
So in other words, Galactus needs to live, or else there will be no new universe born.
Well, he kind of needs to do his thing, or everything's just going to keep on rolling along, slowly decaying. Like it's a very weird dichotomy, but yeah, I think they're going to do a Fantastic Four origin movie, not Fantastic, a Silver Surfer origin movie, and the Fantastic Four will probably be intertwined with that, and that's how they'll introduce them. And I'd be okay with that because the Silver Surfer is one of the most powerful heroes in the Marvel universe, in the Marvel comics, and they killed him off, but they can bring him back. He's the Silver Surfer. He's fucking awesome. He's got the power cosmic. He'll be fine.
And now for the X-Men, I suspect that they're going to use the origin story from the Ultimates franchise, where instead of mutants being born,
they're made.
They were actually made from Wolverine's DNA.
Really? I thought the ultimate continuity was they were made not from Wolverine's DNA, but because they were trying to
replicate Wolverine's power.
Well, not Wolverine. They were trying to replicate the Superman serum from Captain America.
Oh.
Like the Ultimate Universe is built around the Superman serum. Like the reason Bruce Banner is the Hulk and the Ultimate thing is that they were trying to replicate the Superman serum from the Incredible Hulk. I mean, from Captain America.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite work. It didn't quite work out the way they wanted. And the reason mutants are the way they are is because people had been exposed to this pathogen that was trying to replicate the Superman serum from Captain America. But yeah. Aside from that small detail, yeah. I mean, they could do that. I mean, personally, it's like we really don't need an origin for the X-Men.
And what do you think should be the current roster for the X-Men?
I think Fox built all of their X-Men movies around Wolverine to the point where all the other X-Men look superfluous, which is terrible because if you've actually read an X-Men comic or any of the really good runs of the X-Men, you know that there are other X-Men who just shit all over Wolverine. So
yeah, I know that Cyclops and Jean Grey play a major role, so they have to stay. So what about the other three?
Here's what I think is going to happen. What's most likely? I think that they're going to let that Dark Phoenix movie come out. Then they're going to bury that shit and Marvel's going to hire their own people. And they're going to root it around Cyclops because Cyclops is really the leader of the X-Men. I know everyone's like, Wolverine's not the leader of the X-Men. It's Professor X is the mastermind who stays in the mansion and figures shit out. And Cyclops is the team leader out in the field, okay? So I think what you'll see is maybe like a espionage strike team type thing. They might even do Meteor M or the Genosian stories where it's like they have the Lost World in the Antarctic with the dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah,
maybe
the Savage Land.
Yeah, the Savage Lands. Yeah, they might do that. I mean, like, there's some really good X-Men stories. I just hope that Marvel, if they get the rights back, don't make a whole bunch of movies blowing Wolverine. That's all I'm saying. Of course, they're going to have Hugh Jackman in one of them because he said, I'm never coming back as Wolverine unless it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. so we're going to have one point where he just like, get him in the tan and browns or the yellow, black and blues for kids everywhere. Get him in his real costume and get Wolverine done right. For once, Wolverine done right. I know everyone's like, I liked him in Old Man Logan. I'm not exactly
And,
enthralled with that film.
and how would you picture his appearance, his brief appearance? What is it?
Um,
Like a short term cameo, like in the bar, or wandering around the woods.
um, here's the way I think they could do it. Okay. Um, they could be doing another film because Marvel is really good at this. They could be doing a period film, right? They could be doing the Fantastic Four film, and you could have like set in the 70s where the team has split up, right? Reed
Right.
is trying to figure out, a way to save his friend Ben and get him to turn back into a human being. Johnny's off doing his own thing. Sue is off doing her own thing, and you could have Ben basically be a park ranger, right? And
Right.
like they're like, some wild animals attacking hunters up in the mountains. And Ben's like, yeah, I'll go check the shit out. And he goes up there and it's not a wild animal attacking people, it's fucking Wolverine. and you could have them fight a little bit until they figure out that the reason Wolverine's been attacking people is that they're poachers and they're doing illegal stuff. And so they team up for a little like mini adventure in the film. And like that would be a nice little it would be like a nice aside,
Or we could
That'd
have
be cool.
our live action Hulk versus Wolverine movie.
Yeah, but if we had that, you just have Wolverine. You just have the Hulk rip Wolverine in half, and all those Wolverine fanboys would be like, "That's not fair." It's like, no, it totally makes sense because Wolverine's rage ain't shit next to the Hulk's rage. Okay, it's like Wolverine said in Thor Ragnarok, "I'm like a great big fire." No, you're like a match. I'm like a volcano. You're like a little match about to go out. I'm a volcano. That's the Hulk's rage. Because Wolverine's rage just makes him very bestial and feral, and he just attacks incessantly. The Hulk's, he doesn't get any stronger or faster or tougher. The Hulk's rage makes all of his stats go up the longer time goes on. So basically, conceivably, the longer the Hulk fights, the more dangerous he becomes. Unless, you're talking about Avengers Age of Ultron, where, they just can't stop blowing Tony Stark. But,
So I think that's about that's all I have to say about what to see for the Fantastic Four and X-Men cinematic universe.
yeah, but let's look at what we would like to see. Because we went over realism, but now it's time to look at what we'd like to see. So let's say they said, okay, we're going to give you $60 million, make this movie with this IP, go. You pick the IP. I don't. It's Fox right now. Now it's yours.
Probably go, let's see. I'll probably go with Fantastic Four.
All right.
Since the X-Men's already been done to death.
Many times. Yeah. I mean, where else can you go?
Probably give them the Black Panther treatment. Like introduce them in one of the already pre-established Marvel characters movie, and then they'll eventually get their own movie.
Yeah.
Flesh them out more.
What if this deal goes through and in Marvel in the second Avengers movie where a lot of people are supposed to die or retire and stuff like that? What if there's a scene where the Hulk gets knocked the fuck out? Like he's in the sky. He gets punched so hard he flies and lands in front of the school, Xavier's School of the Gifted. And like not only all these kids come outside, and not only are they not afraid, but they actively start, like a bald guy in a hover chair comes wheeling out there. A guy with a visor comes outside. He's like, and he's like, X-Men, get the Blackbird. And that's all you need. That's it. That's the. That's it. That's the thing. That would be because really this second film in this series, after Infinity War, like really it would be very interesting to have all of these different X-Men teams. Like that's where you introduce them. Like if the rights go through, you have Reed Richards like in a lab, and he's like, like the real Reed Richards, not that fucker from Fantastic Four with Josh Trank. And he's like, oh shit, and grabs his pipe. And you have all of these characters trying to fight this one dude. Like Ben Grimm's like talking shit. It's clobbering. Oh shit. Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have been talking shit. I think that could work.
All right.
I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm just saying it could. So yeah. You go. What movie? I mean, you said Fantastic Four. How could they do Silver Surfer or Doctor Doom or the Skrulls? Well, I mean, obviously, I think the Skrulls are going to be in Captain Marvel, so which makes sense because she gets her power from Marvel.
And of course, Silver Surfer will get his own movie.
He deserves. He deserves to get his own movie. And who's going to be his actor?
And as for Doctor Doom, they'll probably save him for either the Fantastic Four's proper movie or be introduced in another pre-established Marvel characters movie.
Yeah, but he's like Doctor Doom. Like Doctor Doom is a great stand-in villain because you can throw him in almost anything. But what if they do another Captain America movie with a new Captain America, and you see the return of the Red Skull, but not only does the Red Skull return, someone brings him back. And, at the beginning of the movie, and like you see the Red Skull brought back, and then it pans up, and oh shit, it's Doctor Doom. And that's the movie. Like you have Doctor Doom teaming up with the Red Skull to take on Captain America.
Wasn't the Red Skull rumored to return for Infinity War?
It may be a rumor. I don't think so because Hugo Weaving doesn't want to do it. But he had so much makeup that it doesn't even really matter.
Okay. And now for the X-Men villains like Magneto, the Juggernaut, and Apocalypse.
What?
Right,
with the X-Men, like here's the thing: the X-Men have like their own set of villains, and nary do they cross over with the rest of the Marvel universe. Like Mr. Sinister might be a problem for the X-Men, but for the Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Hulk, it's like, I don't really give a shit about you. But I'm Mr. Sinister. I have a cool name. Yeah, sit your ass down. Maybe Apocalypse occasionally, but they already did that trick once, and that movie was ass. I mean, I hate to say that, but Age of Apocalypse was ass.
So yeah, and as well. What about Mojo as well?
I would like to see that Mojo's World, because basically that would be a creature feature. And what if they use practical special effects for Mojo and a puppet instead of just straight up, CG? Oh man, that'd be the shit. Have the actors have like Mojo put slime and slobber on them and shit, because Mojo's basically Jabba the Hutt. He's basically Jabba the Hutt, except he's got superhuman strength and he has telekinetic blasts and shit. But he's just insane. So yeah, I think that would be a really good movie.
And they'll have to somehow implement the Sentinels in the MCU with Master Mold.
Yeah, they could have the Sentinels. You could have basically you could have a new president. You could have a deep cover Doctor Doom meddle with the elections and get a planted Red Skull as the president, and then he passes a bill outlawing superhumans and mutants, right? So then you deal with the whole metahuman thing that in the comics, and you can bring in the Sentinels, real Sentinels, not that shit from that shitty Bryan Singer movie and that Matthew Vaughn movie. Real Sentinels, the big huge. You are resisting. Don't resist. And then you could finally bring back Magneto, but have him be Magneto, the anti-hero / hero, who's fighting the Sentinels. Magneto. Because the X-Men have so many characters. I mean, you've got Hellfire Club.
Yeah, you got Sabretooth and Silver Samurai, Spider-Man, and then there's Toad, Emma Frost, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, but those are like X-Men or Brotherhood people. So, I mean, but like aside characters, I mean, you've got. Oh snap! How's it going, Jewel?
Jewel?
Oh, she's muted. She'll be back.
All right.
Testing.
We can hear you. How's it going?
Just got back from dinner.
Well,
all right.
I'm gonna be eating dinner as soon as this podcast is over.
Yeah, because Dr. Feelgood's cat OGL has been moved because he's getting into what's it called? Xenoblade Chronicles X. So
yeah.
It figures the time that I look for him,
that game's like a drug.
Change.
No, I mean I haven't gotten the game yet, but it's an RPG, so I know that it's gonna have a certain level of addiction. Yeah.
I mean, because there was another Arms Party Crash event going on.
Yeah.
How fun.
I'm glad I didn't get Arms. That's all I gotta say. That game seems really addictive.
So, Joel,
what did you guys get into already?
Well, we already discussed about which of the two Fox-owned Marvel properties is most likely to appear in the MCU, and what we like to and what we like to see.
Yeah. So I guess you can give us what you would like, what's most likely, and then what you would like to see, and then we'll all give our final one, which is our crazy, the ultimate what we would like to see.
Hope. You mean?
Yeah. Like wildest hope. It'll never happen, but if it did, we'd lose our minds. That type of thing. But we'll do that last.
One of the most likely would be probably a retcon of the Inhumans to see how they actually do in their own movie.
Likely, I think if this deal goes through, they're just gonna bury the Inhumans like it never happened.
I said most likely, but
speaking of Inhumans, the season finale is basically the way the season finale went was like similar to how Thor Ragnarok ended, having an entire kingdom destroyed, where all the citizens moved to another place.
I dropped out of my own podcast. Damn it. No, but what I was about to say is that no, you're right, Joel. They probably will do a reboot of the Inhumans.
That's what I was thinking, because if anything, the show.
Yeah. I went and watched the little movie experience in the movie theater because I got a ticket for free because I had to write a review for it. And I was like, and fuck this.
I
was like, if I had paid for
watched
this,
the
I'd
entire
be
season
mad.
of the show, and I can tell you this: the way it ended was a bit similar to Thor Ragnarok's ending.
Then you can keep it to yourself because I
have yet to see it.
Well, no, I saw the first. Well, they took the first 3 episodes and they cut them together into a movie where they shot some of it in like TV standard and some of it in high def. They put it in IMAX, and I watched it and I wrote a review for it, and I was like, "This is a mess," because I know these characters. Now, I'm not hugely familiar with the Inhumans and Black Bolt and Minerva and Medusa and Gargoyle. Like, I'm not like hugely familiar with these characters, but I'm like, here's the thing. This is not the actor's fault. The actors did the best they could with that show. This is the fault of the people behind the actors, the people who wrote the script, and Tim Buck, that dude who kills good franchises.
Yep. Screwed up Iron Fist.
Yeah, he killed Iron Fist. He killed it dead. Like Iron Fist should have been the most badass kung fu epic, fighting series ever. 13 episodes of just Iron Fist, just chopsocky kung fu, stuff. And it turned out to be this boardrooms and meetings and stocks, controlling shares, interest of the Rand Corporation. Fuck you. That's how I felt watching. Like, I just, and I know that Netflix does their shit on a budget. I get it, but
even then, some things need higher quality control, right?
Well, Tim Buck is just not a very. Tom Buck. Yeah, he's not very good.
I was about to say, not very skilled.
Everything he touches, he kills. Like Dexter, when it went down the shitter, Tom Buck was at the helm.
I was about to make the joke that isn't it the same person that ran the DC quote unquote universe?
You mean Zack Snyder?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tom Buck isn't quite Zack Snyder level. He's shitty, but he's not Zack Snyder level. Or David Goyer level. David Goyer, yeah. I'm David Goyer.
At least he's got at least he's got that going for him. That he ain't that terrible. But still, he might want to consider a new line of employment. I just realized I made one idea of what could happen, and I just realized one idea that would likely happen, but I don't think either you two might go for it.
And that is
Nova Corps.
Yeah, but I mean, they're already doing a Nova Corps movie, I think.
If that's true, then I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, because they already own the Nova Corps stuff. Although, really, the Nova, each of the major teams in the X-Men in the Marvel universe deal with different threats, like the major powers in X-Men. So, I mean, in the Marvel universe. So, like the Avengers deal with planetary threats, like big stuff that's gonna mess with the entire planet, right? Well, not the planet, but like the U.S. Right?
Yeah.
Or big stuff. This people are going to destroy this nation. Okay, we're the Avengers, right? Then you have the X-Men. The X-Men pretty much deal with mutants who are using their powers to do shady shit. Like the Brotherhood, the Hellfire Club.
Yeah. But I was thinking the reason why I said Nova Corps is because I was remembering the Green Lantern.
Yeah, the Nova Corps is interplanetary. The Nova Corps is like, oh shit, Thanos is leading a fleet to blow up your planet. Better call the Nova Corps. like Doctor Strange is interdimensional, extraplanar threats. So like,
as in dimensional threats that cross multiple realms, right?
Defenders go after like crime lords.
Well, yeah, the Defenders are more like okay. Like if the Avengers are taking care of, hey, this volcano is going to explode and these people need to be evacuated. Okay, Avengers assemble. Like the Defenders are like, man, there's a bank robbery and these criminals are way more
lethal than usual.
yeah, they're very lethal, very highly trained. Okay, then we can handle this, and they go in there and they do what they need to do. Like they're very street level. The Defenders are very street level. But like if the Hulk came down in the Hell's Kitchen, the Defenders would be like, well, shit, I can't handle this. I mean, even Luke Cage be like, man, I ain't fucking with him. Shit, I'm gonna sit over here and have a drink.
And it just shows that tears exist even among all superheroes.
Well, I mean, I remember reading this comic where the Hulk was extremely pissed, and like all these other like mid-tier heroes were like because here's the thing, even Spider-Man's a mid-tier hero. He's not top tier. Like everyone's like, if we band together, we can take it. And Spider-Man just runs away. He's like, no way, man. And then like the guy's like, if we stand together, we can take on the Hulk. He's like, guys, and everyone just leaves. He's just
I was gonna say, who the heck thinks of those kind of ideas?
A dude who's very optimistic, because
Good point. Though the impossible idea, I'm going real stretch out here. That it would be hero team versus hero team out there, but I'm not sure entirely which ones to pick because there's a number of them as far as I know it.
So my impossible idea is the ideal Hulk versus Wolverine live action adaptation.
It would have to be rated R. I would love it, but it would have to be rated R.
For gore and vocal language.
Villain. That's which is the idea behind my impossible idea.
Yeah. I mean, seeing that Deadpool is rated R and made money, if they made a rated R Hulk movie, that'd be awesome.
All the swearing, all the blood, all the gore, all the chaos.
I just want to see. Well, I mean, not the Hulk's nudity so much. I just want to see Wolverine get ripped in half by the Hulk, because that's what happens in the comics. Like, because Wolverine's like, I'm talking all that. Because here's what people need to understand about Wolverine. Wolverine's not that badass.
That's wrong.
He talks mad shit and then gets his ass kicked. And he's like, Wolverine against normal people, like, I'm just a normal human with a gun, or I'm just a normal human with a knife. Wolverine will fuck you up. Or Sentinels. Wolverine is really good at taking down Sentinels.
Give him some body, he'll cut it in half.
Yeah, the adamantium claws.
Keeping him around other mutants, especially ones that tamper with metal.
Yeah, but if he's up against another mutant that has superhuman strength, Wolverine gets his ass kicked like 9 times out of 10.
As I said, keep him away from other mutants.
But he at least
especially the kind that like to tamper with metal.
Yeah, but Wolverine's regeneration is so finicky that it's in the right circumstances is useless. Like if it's below freezing, he can't regenerate. If he doesn't have access to oxygen, he can't regenerate. If it's too hot, he can't regenerate. It's like there's all of these. Wolverine's regeneration is like literally the shittiest regeneration in Marvel's pantheon of characters who have regenerative abilities. It's not that good.
If you need somebody that has regen, look at Deadpool.
But it's also needed to keep if you want to have his adamantium claws.
Well, not really. I mean, because without his adamantium claws, he gets the bone claws, which, I mean, they're bone. If he breaks his bones, they just regrow themselves.
Yeah, they just did that because there was this parody video I watched years ago that saying that you cannot have. You can only have one of 2 of Wolverine's power, which is healing factors or bone claws. And the reason why no one cannot handle the Wolverine claws because it only works when he has his healing factor activated.
Yeah, because every time he uses them, he's injuring himself because they're literally coming out of his hands. Like Wolverine, the reason adamantium works for Wolverine is because basically of his healing factor, because adamantium in the human body is poisonous. He's literally his body is constantly being poisoned and regenerating itself because of his because of the adamantium. But that's neither here nor there. My ultimate like balls to the wall blowout movie that'll probably never be made, even if this goes through, is, and I know I said, well, they'll probably never do this, they'll probably never do that. I would like to see Marvel actually do a Fantastic Four origin movie, but done right, like actually done right. Have Doctor Doom done right. Have, you know, like
have both members of the Fantastic Four done right.
Well, all four members. I would like to see Reed Richards have his gray temples and be kind of tall with his pipe. I would like to see Ben Grimm talking mad shit. It's clobbering time. Johnny Storm, Sue Storm done right. I would like to see all four of them done right. I would like to see Doctor Doom done right. I would like to see Marvel finally say, you know what? People have been fucking up our babies for years. This is how you do it right. And you know, because here's what people need to understand about the Fantastic Four. So many of the core characters in the the Marvel universe were introduced in the Fantastic Four. You like Black Panther? He was originally a Fantastic Four villain.
Or the Inhumans, they also originated from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the Inhumans, Tyrannus, the Conqueror, let's see, who else? Silver Surfer, Galactus, the Watchers, Doctor, of course, the most iconic Marvel villain ever, Dr. Victor Von Doom. Even though he's not really a doctor, he doesn't have a recognized doctorate from any school at all. He doesn't have a PhD
the
nor
entire country.
Yeah, I personally, I think he took over Latveria and gave himself an honorary doctorate. He's like, because Reed Richards really is a doctor. Bruce Banner really is a doctor. Tony Stark really is a doctor. Like, he has doctorates in engineering.
I was about to say.
Science. Yeah, he doesn't use them, but he really
doctor you'll ever see.
Yeah, he's a doctor I would not want to work on me, but his doctorates are in engineering and like science and metallurgy and shit. Like
and Doctor Strange is an actual doctor as well.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is an actual doctor, MD, and when he does have, like, now in the comics he has degrees in metaphysics and like spirituality and stuff like that. So I mean, these are very highly educated people. Hell, even Black Panther is a doctor. But you didn't know that. He really is. He's very intelligent. He's a doctor. He has PhDs. It's like, Black Panther. Excuse me, sir. I did not spend 6 years in getting my doctorate to be called Black Panther. It's Dr. Black Panther. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think this could work very well. So I guess since Dr. Feelgood's podcast has been moved shifted, I don't know, moved, yeah. I don't know. I guess we can get a little bit into just a little snippet.
I actually thought you were going to the Oscars.
No, I'm not talking about the Oscars. I really don't care about the Oscars.
Something sci-fi related?
Well, yeah. So now that this is a little video game related, but I don't want to get into the VGA thing from tomorrow. So for tomorrow. So instead, I'm going to talk about, of course, obviously, we're going to talk about the video game implications of this thing. We can finally get the X-Men, the Fantastic Four added to Marvel Lego Heroes 2.
Funny enough, I saw Lego's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy are already in the game. Like, it's really, you start the game as the Lego Guardians of the Galaxy with Star-Lord and
As I said, funny enough, I saw Legos going into the galaxy earlier today. So if anything, this is a pretty neat topic to go into. So go on.
Yeah. I just want them to bring back the characters who were in the first Lego Marvel heroes. Like, I want the Fantastic Four and Doctor Strange is in it, but the Fantastic Four and the X-Men there, because it just doesn't feel the same. It's like, it's weird that the last gen Lego Marvel heroes is better than the next gen Lego Marvel heroes. Plus, it really is. It has more levels.
Oh, and I just remember something. Do you think the Deadpool movies will be implemented in the MCU?
They might do a crossover, but they're gonna bleep them out. But the cool thing about Deadpool is that if they bleep out his cussing,
he's gonna notice.
Yeah, he's gonna break the fourth wall and be like, "What the beep?" You could have like Captain America if they don't kill off Captain America. He's like, language. You know, it would totally work. It would totally work.
Yeah.
Language. There's a lady present.
If Deadpool gets in and he gets beat, he's going to notice on the spot.
I mean, wouldn't it be cool if you had like Deadpool drop in and start cussing out the villain, and the other Marvel heroes would just look like Captain America's looking at him just aghast, like,
"Oh, are you serious?"
Like, there's a lady present. You know, like the type of humor you could have from having Deadpool just not able to cuss.
That's actually that's oddly more hilarious than hearing him swear and look to the camera.
And even better, if he takes off his mask and Tony Stark's like, "Shit!" He's like, "Oh, shit!" Like the Hulk's like Bruce Banner's like, "Ah, leave!" What happened to your face, man? Like the type of humor you could have with Deadpool, and just like throwing in a cameo.
It will say using the floor.
Like, you don't even have to have him be in the whole movie. You just basically just have him pop in with his swords, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna show you what it's all about," and then he gets like smashed into the ground because I mean he's Deadpool. Deadpool's like a mid-tier character. He's not like top tier. I think that would be awesome. That'd be hilarious. I would totally watch that.
The upper height. I thought he'd be the upper mid tier. Really.
No, not really. He's mid tier. He's
I said upper mid tier because
he doesn't have the
super
powers he has.
Villains that Deadpool would be the perfect one to make somebody go crazy.
Well,
yeah, but the thing is that Deadpool's only powers is his healing factor. Anything outside of that, he's just a normal human.
Well, the thing about Deadpool, the reason Deadpool's mid-tier and not upper mid-tier or top tier, and when I say tiers, I don't mean like, I'm not like this is Smash Brothers and this character can't. I mean in terms of power levels and how they can show that power off. Like Spider-Man is a mid-tier character, but Spider-Man, when he goes all out, can go like up, like lower top tier, upper like high mid-tier. When he goes all out, Spider-Man very rarely goes all out, but when he does, it's friggin' sweet. The Hulk is a top-tier character because the Hulk,
you can barely stop that kind of bulldozer.
Yeah, the Hulk at his highest power levels is insane. Like he can shatter continents. He can hold planets together. He can grab two continental plates and hold them together. Like literally, if you're Deadpool or Spider-Man, you can't do that shit. You need to sit down and shut the fuck up.
As I was saying, I consider Deadpool the higher range of the mid tier.
Yeah, Thor is also a top tier. Well, I mean, it depends which version of Thor you get. If you're talking about like OG Thor, where it was just an old man who had the power of Thor, a professor with a bad leg who got the power of Thor, he was like high mid tier, lower top tier. Actual Thor, who is a god, yeah, he's high tier. It just depends on which version of Thor you have.
That you get.
Yeah, if you're talking Thor after he loses his hammer and he loses his powers and he's just a dude, he's trash. He's trash. Like the Fantastic Four, like Ben Grimm is mid-tier. Reed Richards, in terms of powers, is actually low tier, but in terms of intellect, like he's top tier, so it balances out to mid tier. Sue Storm is actually low top tier because her powers are insane. Johnny Storm, ironically, is also low top tier because his power level is also insane. It's weird that the weakest character is the leader of the team and actually has some of the most powerful, like Reed Richards' abilities kind of suck. I stretch unless you're Sue Storm, I guess my ability to stretch different parts of my body out to any size and shape is very useful. Yes, that's just as dirty as it sounds. But yeah, I mean, and then you have like who are the two of the low tier characters? Well, I mean, Daredevil, Iron Fist. Like if there's a volcano exploding, Daredevil can't do shit. He can't even like rescue people.
I was about to say he ain't even able for the evacuation squad. If I got it right.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Hey, where you going? Where are you taking us? Just follow me. I mean, Iron Fist. I mean, if you're being mugged by a mugger, Iron Fist and Daredevil got your back. If a dude is trying to shoot you, Luke Cage got your back. But Luke Cage has superhuman strength, so
he can block.
Well, not only that, Luke Cage is one of the few heroes who went to Latveria after Dr. Doom stiffed him on a job and literally beat. He strong-armed Dr. Doom to get his money, and I respect Luke Cage because of that.
That actually deserves applause.
Yeah. I give Luke Cage points for that. He's like, "Where's my money? Give me my money, goddammit!"
Hopefully, he got and money that could be transferable to better quality paper.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if the money in the world that Dr. Doom's in.
Yeah, here's my Doom dollars. A real money, bitch. Americans, Benjamins.
That's
the line I was faking.
Let's continue with the video game implications about the Fantastic Four and X-Men becoming part of the MCU again. Let's also talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. We can now finally get our fan favorite
Doom
into the roster.
You people who love Wolverine, you can finally get back to berserkering barraging. Berserker barrage.
And for all the Doom players, you can finally use your finger lasers again.
Yeah, and you can finally get Magnus with his Meteor M background. Now, welcome to Die. So you can get all of that awesome stuff back, and as a gamer, I'm happy. As a fan, I'm also happy. Because like I said, I like you people just don't know. I am such a huge Fantastic Four fan. Fantastic Four is the first superhero team comic I ever read. Before I read Justice League and X-Men, Doom Force, Micronauts. Fantastic Four. Even before I read the Avengers, Fantastic Four. So I'm a Fantastic Four fanboy, if you will. Love the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can speculate which new X-Men or Fantastic Four character could be added into the Marvel vs. Capcom roster. Like anyone
new? Well, they did Deadpool last time, so new character?
Yeah, a new X-Men character and a new Fantastic Four character.
Well, for Fantastic Four characters, they'll probably do either Mr. Fantastic, because that would just be really weird with his stretchy abilities. Like, he could do some really cool shit.
And the Thing would be too much of a cult clone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing, like here's the thing people don't understand about Ben Grimm. His fighting style, like he actually, like the Hulk is a basher. He beats the shit out of everything. He doesn't actually have a fighting style. Yeah, he's so physically strong that it doesn't matter. Ben Grimm actually knows how to fight. Like he knows kung fu and moves and grapples and shit. You know.
So he'll be more of a Mike Hager clone, is what you're saying?
Well, Mike Hager knows wrestling. Ben Grimm is Ben Grimm's an Air Force captain. Like this dude learned to kill people and learn martial arts and shit. So he could actually Ben Grimm could actually learn he could actually have like more traditional fighting moves, but he's a rock dude and he's super strong. So that's cool. I mean, there's a way they could add Ben Grimm and not have him be a Mike Hager or a Hulk clone. So, I mean, that's why I'm like, if they added Ben Grimm, I wouldn't be angry. I think Reed Richards would be a better fit because he's so, with his stretchy moves and all that stuff, he's so out there. It's like you wouldn't see it coming. But from the X-Men, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they'd probably add Magneto, but from the X-Men proper, I don't know.
Let's see, they could add in Nightcrawler or
yeah, Nightcrawler would be cool because he could teleport around the stage. That would be his thing. Like his special moves would all be teleports and jump. Maybe his finisher would be he teleports you into that astral plane between realms, the infernal realm, and beats you down and leaves you there. And he comes back and you're gone. And that's his.
Now I'm imagining Beast as a Blanca function.
Beast would be cool, but I mean, Beast really isn't like Beast physically. He moves kind of like Blanca, but he is like
he doesn't have the energy or the raw savagery for it, right?
Yeah. Beast, especially how he's been interpreted, really isn't very bestial. Even though he looks bestial, he's not bestial. Like he's got the glasses and shit. He's reading philosophy upside down. Like, oh, you've interrupted my reading time. I'm much perturbed. Something like that. I don't know. Like personally, and I know she's not an X-Men character, even though they desperately tried to retcon her in those shitty Fox movies. Mystique.
Oh,
Mystique could be
Chameleon herself.
Well, she could be like Taskmaster, and that Taskmaster has everyone else's moves in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like he has bits and pieces of everyone else's moves.
Oh God!
What if Mystique, while she's fighting? What if while she's fighting, her combos are she turns into the person and does their moves?
That reminds me of one of the Mortal Kombat characters for having her around.
Yeah, Shang Tsung. I was thinking she'd play more like Spinal from Killer Instinct. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or Shao Tsung from the first Mortal Kombat game.
It could. I would go more. I would go more. I would go more. I would go more Spinal than.
Then you go Killer Instinct more than Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah, just because the way Spinal did his combos in that game is what I'm envisioning more than Shang Tsung.
This is the humble Nintendo.
Oh, sorry. Just because when he do a combo, he'd do his moves, and then to finish it, he'd turn into that character that he was fighting. So it would be a neat way for Mystique to have multiple attacks, and she'd be a very multifaceted character. Now, would Capcom put this type of effort into a fighting game? Probably not, because they've been dialing in for years. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just like digging into Capcom because fuck those guys.
Even if they did a Mega Man game.
Yeah. After 10 goddamn years.
Mega Man 11, and I'd save my commentary for tomorrow, but I'll just say this right now. Whoever's getting hyper happy about 11, hold your horses until you see gameplay, please.
You know what the sad thing is? I'm still gonna get it.
What?
I'm still gonna get it. I'm a Mega Man fan. I'm still gonna get it. Look, as long as it's not like a $60 game, I'll still get it. Like $30, I'll get it. Why the hell not? It's Mega Man. I'll get it on PC.
It'll most likely be digital only because of how short the Mega Man games usually are.
I don't care. If it's like $30, I'll get it. Why the hell not?
Mega Man games are usually known for their replay value, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, not because of the content. It's because Mega Man games are so solid that you can just go back and play it. Not over and over again, but you like Mega Man X. You can always go back and play Mega Man X. Like, it's always worth going back and playing Mega Man X because it's that solid. Same thing with Mega Man 2. People forget this. The first Mega Man game is not that good.
Yeah, especially against the Yellow Devil if you don't use the glitch.
No, it's just not very good. Like, the first Mega Man for the NES is just not very good. Like, you could tell that it was the first game in the series because there's a lot of things that it just feels very rough and unpolished. But Mega Man 2 and 3, they started to get into the zone in how to make these games. And they pretty much wrote it with the Mega Man series all the way up to like 5, maybe 6. 7.
I played Mega Man 7 and 8, so if anything, I get what you're going at.
Yeah, 7 is a little too much for me. Personally, my favorite, like, straight-up Mega Man game of the modern gen that wasn't on the NES is Mega Man and Bass. Because I like the music in it, and I like how it plays very differently from other Mega Man games, more or less. It feels like kind of like a fusion between Mega Man X and OG Mega Man, which I like.
We don't speak about that game.
Yeah. F that game. Of course, everyone knows.
I thought it was Mega Man X7.
Well, Mega Man X7, I'm gonna keep it real. The only X games I really like are the first 3. Like, when the franchise left the SNES and went to the PS, the original PlayStation, I was like, I don't really care about these games because the art style just didn't resonate. Like, the art style they had in the 16-bit era looked better to me than what they had in the 5th gen. So those games don't really. I'm not a huge fan of them. Although Mega Man Command Mission was pretty good, in my opinion.
I see.
So that's enough Mega Man. We could save the Mega Man talk for a later podcast.
That is correct. So with that being said, folks. Anything you guys want to pimp out, show out,
Well, we could talk about the Jurassic World trailer in the next SciFi.
No, we got time. We can talk about it now. I haven't seen it, so what did you guys think about it?
I haven't seen it myself because I'm waiting to watch it when I go to theaters.
Oh God.
But from what I've heard is that Jeff Goldblum's in it, and of course,
it's got Jeff Goldblum. He can save that shit. I
was gonna say, what are you going at?
No, I just want to. No, go ahead. Sorry.
And of course, a lot of dinosaurs dying because of the island is gonna explode.
I just want to see Jeff Goldblum saying, "I told you so. I told you so. Life finds a way." And have that creepy ass laugh he had from the first movie.
I was told that he says something that's similar. That's more along the lines of that. Like, who keeps bringing their kids here or something?
Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? like now all they need to do is get Grant in the next movie, and then it'll become full circle.
Ooh.
Grant. I hate kids. Grant hates kids. Still hates kids. Never
I would ask about your ideas of the Jumanji 2, but
I'm hearing it's actually it's actually better than everyone expected.
That's because The Rock is in it and Jack Black is in it, and like Jack Black is genuinely funny. Kevin Hart.
Hey, I thought all that star power is the only thing trying to keep it from really sinking.
Well, I think, and the fact that it's not too closely tied to the original and it's got some heart to it, that's what I heard. I haven't watched it. I don't plan on watching it because it's like the only movie I might watch this holiday season is something else because I don't know. I'll watch something different. But yeah, I think everything will work out just fine, more or less.
And I think that's about it. Because I'm saving my other topics for the OGL podcast.
That's right. So, with that being said, anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
I'm solid.
Nope.
All right. I guess I'll pimp something out. Tomorrow we will be doing BS Busters, our VGA thoughts about the VGAs this year. Our overall thoughts and all that stuff. We might also, we'll definitely also talk about the bullshit that was the PlayStation experience this year. The PlayStation experience. So look forward to that. It's not going to be a long podcast tomorrow, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And then hopefully, knock on wood, if Doc isn't indisposed, there'll be the OGL after that. So with that being said, peace, good night, and that's the end.
And